Last time on A Soldier's Life, Eric gets shipped off to the hounds. He gets woken up and be like, come with us. So he leaves. Then we get a Cinna POV. Ooh. Where Eric has written two cute little letters. One to Cinna and one to Rena. Very cute. Hello, you're also cute. Yeah. I got thrown off by Willow. Anyway, then Antonia bursts in and be like, Cinna, give me Eric's blood now. And she's like, okay, here. And Antonia's like, nice, thank you. But she actually gives her pig's blood, and this whole blood thing I was hella confused by, but apparently it's the hounds can like track your blood or something. So Sina is being a bro and was like, no, I will not give them Eric's DNA. Thank you very much. But they think that they have Eric's DNA, but I guess they can track a pig now if they would like to. So that's where we are, and we will continue in chapter. What is my... Okay, she went to sleep. Maybe. Chapter 213. Welcome to the Hounds. I felt naked, leaving the mage tower without wearing my armor. The gaudy ceremonial armor Cinna had made for me was left behind in my small room. However, I still had the resin hide and fancier semi-dress armor that Duchess Veronica had made for me in my dimensional space. That she has made for me in my dimensional. He has it in his dimensional space. I was like, what? She did not make it inside of his dimensional space. Can I just enter? I need to make a dress. I adjusted my belt so the black blade rested better. The man with Cornelius walked behind us. We walked through the city in the dark, Legionnaire patrols seeming to ignore our breaking of the curfew. Curfew. I was surprised as our path took us to the Eastern Legion Hall. Cornelius turned to his companion. Jansen, you can have the honors. Jansen. In my old age, I seemed to be getting rusty in surprising these pups in their sleep. He looked pointedly at me. The hound trainer nodded and smirked devilishly as he moved silently into the Legion Hall. After he disappeared inside, Cornelius spoke to me quietly. When the training starts, do not make friends with the others. You must be a lone wolf so we can assign you where we want you. It's like I can only think about the people that are like this, like for real, you know, like the whole alpha, omega, beta type of a wolf pack thing. So I'm only thinking that these, the Cornelius is like heavy into that, like, no, I am the alpha because he talks like this, but it's only because they're called the hounds. I mean, it is kind of like that though, but yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. I'm gonna try and not be in that mindset, but it's very hard right now to ignore. So I guess he means that Jensen is gonna, like, there are gonna be other pups now as well. I thought it was just gonna be Eric for some reason. I don't know why. Like, because he's special. Don't you make the final decisions? I asked, puzzled. I had already been the odd man out during my Legion training, and it had not been fun. No, I will not be there during your training. Oh, my duties require me elsewhere, he said, as if I was an idiot. The trainers will decide who ends up in each of the 3 packs and who ends up as a lone wolf. Also, it's actually called We need you to serve as a sentry in the Western Empire under the command of Centurion Sergius. He commands the hounds in the western part of the Empire, where the secondary archives are located. Okay, he's fiercely loyal to the Emperor, so you must stand out in your time serving him. A short commotion inside Legion Hall had Cornelius listening for a moment. A soft thud echoed, and he relaxed. How do you know I will be assigned to the archives eventually? I asked spectacly. Spectacly? How they would put a foreigner in such a position made no sense. Don't worry about that, he said dismissively. Things are in play to make sure it happens. You need to earn Sergius's trust and find out where the archives are located. That caused me to go silent. Cornelius didn't even know where the secondary archives were located. I had so many questions, like how this was supposed to make a difference if it was going to take me years to be in a position to learn the location of the archives. I was left contemplating while Cornelius moved closer to the sentries at the building. 2 men came out in their night clothes, and Cornelius congratulated them on being selected. Eventually, 4 more men joined us from the Legion Hall, and then we went to the Western Legion Hall, also called the Perfectus Legion. Ooh. This was a slight against conscripts like myself, as the Perfectus Legion Hall was where the Legion volunteers were trained. 3 more men joined our group. These men had a common guard, and maybe they were given time to dress or their recruitment was expected, so they were more prepared. We exited the city, and it appeared the legionnaires at the gate were aware of our group's purpose. Outside the western gates, our numbers swelled to 21 recruits and 4 hound trainers. Definitely not just Eric, as I thought. We moved a distance before Cornelius stopped our procession. Welcome to the hounds, pups. We will not be traveling to Knoll Gardens, as it has been compromised by the enemy. Instead, we will be traveling to Fort Vesta on the Hyrian River. Hyrian? Hyrian. The river. A short man looked around. That is over 40 miles. Are we riding or getting into carts? I could understand his confusion, as half of us were wearing sandals and 4 of us were barefoot. Cornelius smiled ruefully. Hounds are the most fit men in the Empire. We can cover 40 miles in half a day fully equipped. Since you are just starting your training, all you need to carry this time is a canteen. The trainers dropped their packs and started handing out the canteens. I took mine and sniffed it. Lemon water. I took a little taste, and it had sugar or honey in it. Some other men took a long pull, and Cornelius shook his head disappointed, but didn't say anything. I don't have my boots, a youth with black hair noted. One of the trainers turned on him, saying, You should have been prepared to move out at a moment's notice, pup. I can't do the pups. Now you will have to run barefoot. The intensity of the rebuke silenced everyone from further questions. Cornelius was smiling. If you get to the fort before noon, you can have tomorrow off. Now, pups, run! Wow. Hell yeah, JP, welcome. Shh. Our group started running down the paved road at a slow pace. I moved closer to one of the trainers. How do I find this fort if I get ahead of everyone? He laughed loudly at me. You think you can outrun me? Cato? Cato, I think I will go with. Does this pup think he can outrun me? You will be foaming at the mouth when I am finished with you. If you don't keep up, I will have you run the beach twice daily until you can. The hound trainer immediately began to increase his pace, thinking he could tire me out. Doesn't he know that this pup is gonna be the alpha of this pack? I want to die. I wasn't sure how my 70 attributes and endurance compared to his, but this was an opportunity to separate myself from the group. I fell in next to him as we outpaced the group in the dark. It probably was not too smart to travel the roads in the pre-dawn like this. Even though the weather was cold, there were still creatures about. After an hour, the road turned to dirt and gravel, and those men who were barefoot were not going to have an easy time of it. It was clear I was going to be able to outpace the hound. Where did you say Fort Vesta was again? I said evenly. Breathing a little heavily, he replied. There is a marker stone for the turnoff in some 40 miles. It is the small castle overlooking the ocean. Thanks, I said, increasing my pace. The hound trainer tried to keep up, but I soon left him behind. To be fair to him, he had a decent sized pack on, and his hound leathers and weapons added even more weight. All I had was my small pack, my black blade, and my skinning knife. And the canteen, Eric. Or maybe he put that in his dimensional space. Fuck do I know. I was soon running alone as the sun rose. Being alone and moving so fast, I was constantly alert to threats as I passed farm after farm. It looked like these farms had been battered by the summoner's unnatural weather. Skinny livestock and flattened, rotting fields were a common sight. The hound trainers hadn't lied to me. A large stone with the words Fort Vesta was clearly at a fork in the road some hours later. Yeah, but maybe that's not the one you're going to. I turned off here and began a slow incline to find a black stone castle at the top of a bluff overlooking the ocean a few miles later. The salty air and crashing waves were invigorating. There were stairs down to the sandy beach a few 100 feet below, and I assumed this was the running beach the trainer had mentioned. I approached the small castle to find the doors locked. A man peered down from the portcullis. What should be doing there? I immediately got worried the trainer had tricked me. I'm one of the new pups for hound training? Where's the rest of ya? He barked back. Barked, of course. I pointed behind me. They should be along shortly. Can I come in and get some water? I held up my empty canteen. The man paused to talk with someone behind him before turning back to me. No, you can wait for Centurion Cornelius if you're truly one of the new litter of pups. He then disappeared over the wall, ending the conversation. I shook my head, filled my canteen from my dimensional space, and waited on a rock sipping cold blood orange juice. The group arrived an hour after midday, looking terrible. I'm sorry, how fast is Eric? It doesn't say that it's an hour after him. This is an hour after midday. And he was going in the early morning? What? Okay. The trainer I had outpaced was with them. I nodded a little smugly to him. Don't do that. As the group collapsed, one of the pups with bloody feet cursed. Plutus's ghost. That had to be 50 miles. I never thought I would make it. 47, give or take a mile, Cornelius smirked. Looks like we didn't make it before midday, so no day off tomorrow. The group of men whimpered a bit, and I think some cried but hid their faces. Wow, this is gonna be a fun group. So I'm sorry. They cried. I interrupted. I made it before midday. Yeah, that doesn't fucking matter. This is a pack. Cornelius turned on me, mirthful glee in his eyes. Oh, did you now? And if you were part of a pack, would you leave your comrades behind? I didn't answer. I just gave him a hard stare. Thought so. Since you have so much energy, you are tasked with collecting cockles, mussels, and oysters after every morning run. Like, this, why did he think, like, this is the... Cornelius turned to the group of exhausted men. We have one healing mage at Fort Vesta, so try not to get too injured during your training. Cornelius paced in front of us. Half of you came from the Legion, and the other half came from the army. Now that you are all pups, you are all equal. If I hear of any harassment due to someone coming from lower birth or because they were only a soldier and didn't qualify to be a legionnaire, then I give your trainers permission to walk you off that bluff. Am I clear? Grunts of acknowledgments from the slowly recovering men echoed over the distant waves. Cornelius nodded. You are going to receive the best training in the Empire, and you have the most important duty. You are the first line of defense against our enemies, both outside and inside our borders. You fail in your duty, and all the people you hold dear will be in jeopardy. You let that sink in. Damn. Cornelius seemed to have exhausted his speaking voice and nodded to a trainer to continue for him. The fort behind us is manned by the army. They were gracious enough to let us stay here, and we don't want to put them out, so we will be using the holding cells in the dungeon. Don't worry, for hounds, these accommodations will feel luxurious. If you don't like them, then you're free to sleep on the beach below. Sounds kind of nice. Hello, Eagle. Welcome. Oh, let's go. Which one? What? I haven't read a manga in so long. Mm. Cornelius took back the welcome speech. Now I will introduce you to your 5 trainers for the next few months. They will teach you all 6 aspects of being a hound: fighting, tracking, prowling, woodcraft, monster lore, and magic. Yes, magic. I did not expect that. Surviving the game as a barbarian. Never heard of, but hey, nice. Sounds like a web novel. And also a manga, I guess they do have fuck names. But hey, sweet. A viable spell form is required to become a hound because of the tools you will use in your duties. The men perked up, finally seeming eager after looking like they regretted their decision to join the hounds. Don't get excited, pups. I just can't. Not all of you will be given artifacts. They are too expensive to artifice for every hound to have them. There are 4 devices the Imperial artificers supply the hounds. He sighed theatrically. You look more interested in the artifacts than being introduced to your trainers. No shit. Cornelius produced something that looked like a polished silver pocket watch and flipped it open. The blood compass. Oh, this is the thing. Place a sample of blood inside. He snapped it shut, and you can track a target anywhere on Desia. The compass disappeared into his clothes. He produced a small leather-bound notebook. A sending notebook. These notebooks are paired. Whatever is written on one will show on the other. The notebook disappeared inside his armor. That's cool. I like that. If you can learn to channel your ether through your feet, he rested his foot on a rock. Silent boots. Murmurs among the men at the possibility of being given artifacts excited them. I had plenty of artifacts, some of which I was still needed to learn what they did. The belt coiled in my backpack for one. Cornelius pulled out thick goggles that reminded me of aviator goggles. Night sight spectacles. They will allow you to see almost perfectly in the dark. They are fragile and expensive, and only issued to the most competent hounds. He put away the last artifact, all eyes following it. Now back to introducing your trainers. With the state of our borders, our numbers are stretched, so we only have 5 trainers for you instead of the 10 we normally have. But I have assembled the best for your training. I have brought back retired hounds and a few who have left us to serve elsewhere in the Empire. There's no way Constantine is here, right? Like, that would be crazy. But there's no way. Zero. But I would love it. But once a hound, always a hound. Everyone was now standing, no matter how much pain they were in. They wanted to appear tough because of the men who would be teaching us, even though a number looked old enough to be our grandfathers. Well, I would assume that that the people who already made us run here were the people, like they're already watched you run, no? But maybe it was just Jensen. But there was also Kato, or whatever, cat. The cat with the wolves. He indicated the first man who had been with Cornelius when he came for me. Hound Jansen. One of the best stalkers in the Empire, whether it be rural or the wild. He pointed at the man at outpace running this morning. Hound trainer David. He will ensure all of you are fit enough to do your duties for days without rest if required. Hound Kato is our woodcraft specialist. He will ensure you can find enough food in the middle of a blizzard while not losing your manhood to frostbite. Cornelius turned and pointed. Our master tracker is Hound Hearn. He's Hearn now. He will also teach you everything he knows about beasts and monstrosities. You should hang on to every word that comes out of his mouth, as what you learn from him could save your life and your packs one day. Cornelius stressed with all seriousness. Your last trainer is our master martial specialist. He will make sure you are efficient with your bow and blade. The door to the castle cracked, and an older man walked, and all eyes turned to him. My jaw became unhinged. Standing with the 4 hound trainers was Constantine! What? Dude, I never thought. What? Oh. That makes me insanely happy. But it's also like, how? Why? Castile? But Constantine, let's go. Oh. Hound Constantine will join us while his company is quartered guarding a displacement mage in the safety of a city. Oh. While the other men nodded appreciatively at the skilled men about to teach them, I knew better. I could see it in Constantine's eyes as his eyes traveled over everyone before settling on me and a smirk forming. The only thing that could escape my lips was a single word. Fuck. Yes. Fuck yes, Eric. You forgot the yes. Oh, yes. Oh. One step closer to the company again. Chapter 214. A Day in the Life of a Pup. I hate saying the word pup so much. I didn't have a chance to talk to Constantine before we were shuffled inside the fort. The fort, or castle as they call it. Wow. Okay, Eric. Privileged much? Damn. Was small and sparse. It was just a large tower surrounded by high walls. A dozen soldiers and support staff looked at us as we entered the bailey. Constantine moved off to the right and was talking to the soldier who hadn't let me in when I arrived early. Of course, he played a role in that. Of course. Oh my god, like I can't get over the fact that he is here. He's real. We followed Kato into the stone structure that could have been better maintained. The salt air had eroded the mortar between the stones. One of the pups beside me exclaimed, Neptune's beard, how old is this place? It was here before the First Legion, a blonde-haired pup answered in a haughty, know-it-all tone. So at least 2,000 years. It's just a watchtower for overseeing the ocean passage. Maybe before the First Legion, it might have served as a summoner's home for nobles, but now it just watches the waves. We entered to find an open floor plan that served as the kitchen and dining area. A few soldiers playing cards and dice looked up dispassionately as we entered. Kato took us down the steps, the powerful scent of mildew in the air. We passed the lower storerooms and descended deeper inside the small castle. The dungeons were as advertised, dark, with rotting doors and rusting iron bars on the cells. It was obvious they had not been used in a long, long time. I turned into the first cell that only had one bed. A new straw mattress and blankets had been placed on the stone shelf. I even had a small window overlooking the waves below. Cozy, I muttered. The walls had a thin layer of salt, probably from violent storms getting salt water through the tiny window over the centuries. Like, is he licking everything? I touched the 3 bars on the tiny window, and they crumbled with little effort. Like, of course I know that he doesn't have to lick it to see that it's salt there, but it's just like in my head. Hound Hearn was behind me. Don't worry, most nights will be spent in the wild. If you need healing, head up to the kitchens. Dinner will be served soon. It's the only hot meal given every day, so I suggest you don't miss it. He ducked out to tell the men in the next cell. I worked the bars out of the window and widened it slightly by removing the stone with my space. The outer wall was over a foot thick, but I could stretch my neck out to look down. It was over 200 feet to the sandy beach that was quickly being swallowed by the incoming tide. It looked like some soldiers were down there among the rocks, probably harvesting crabs, clams, and oysters. I looked at my cell's door. I had some bacon grease for the hinges. Not that they did much to hold the warped and rotting door. At least the salt-crusted walls prevented mold from growing. The mattress was scratchy, with fresh straw poking out of it. Sighing, I headed off to the common room. I sat at a table alone with my bowl of thick seafood soup. Constantine sat across from me. Window salt. Yeah, because he said something about it earlier as well. Like, oh, and there's a thick layer of salt. Like, mm. Supplies are tight, so the soldiers here are getting what they can from the sea. He spooned a large serving into his mouth, a tentacle dangling on his lips before he slurped it in. It is actually quite good. How is the company? And why are you here? I found the tentacles in my own soup and pushed them to the side in favor of the crab meat. At least, that was my guess by texture and taste. It was not bad overall. We finished our tablet testing rotation with the magistrate, and Castile was assigned to the city of Brapo to reinforce the displacement mage's legionnaires there. He shrugged. One of the safest cities in the Empire, and as boring as Pluto's realm. Cornelius sent me a message asking if I would be interested in training this litter of pups, and here I am. He smiled while stuffing a slimy tentacle into his mouth and chewing louder than he needed to. Another trainer, Jansen, sat with us. Cornelius is running back to the capital now. He said you were in charge. Grant is not going to make it. He is needed in the south. Constantine grunted. Didn't have the balls to tell me himself. I said I would help with the martial training, and that was all. Now I have to track all the pups and ensure they are competent enough not to get themselves killed on their first assignment. He pushed away the seafood stew. It was mostly gone anyway. Fine. When are the truth seekers due? They could only spare one in a week. He will be escorted from Tala. Stay the night and return the next morning, Jansen said, starting in on the stew. Constantine stood abruptly. Don't touch your bowls. Dinner is done. You need to learn to eat your meals quickly and on the move. See the healer if you need it and get to sleep. The beach run starts at sunrise. Pups. Everyone started scuffling and bitching about not being given time to eat. Constantine waved over the other 4 trainers, acting irritated. But I knew him too well, and he would savor being in charge of this masochistic training regime. Yes! I love him. I was the first one down the stairs and worked my door closed. Then, using my dimensional space, I made some stone wedges to push under the door. I pulled out the blanket from my storage and laid it on the bed so the straw wouldn't stab into me. I entered the dreamscape briefly to manifest 10 tomes of knowledge. I was going to have more trouble remembering which books I hadn't added soon. The amulet returned to my storage, and I pulled out a meat bun and chewed on it while listening to the waves crash below. The sand must be completely covered with the incoming tide by now. The waves on the rocks drowned out the other men talking in the other cells. Cornelius told me to act the loner, and I was doing my best. I was already getting annoyed glances from the other pups. As the light from... Why? Wow. Because he's an asshole and ran. I'm the best. Or what? As the light from the window faded, I pulled out 2 essences. My only power essence remaining and a displacement essence. A foggy sphere with a blinking light bouncing around inside entered my mouth first. I felt it expand that aspect of my core, and once it settled, the apex power essence was next. My muscles burned as that essence worked. Power was a combined aspect of strength and quickness, allowing you to move heavier objects faster. That brought my thoughts to the great sword and armor of the Elven White. Both artifacts were buried under the tavern in Kaelora. Maybe one day I will be able to reclaim them. I took a short nap, as short as required by the ring of sustenance, and then went through a stretching routine in the dark. My time with the hounds was going to be challenging, as I would be isolating myself in the group and unable to use the amulet for long periods. After stretching, I meditated using the exercises Castilla had taught me, but my focus was on the spell form for Purify Self. I paused a few times to slip into the dreamscape and refresh my memory. It was much more difficult doing it this way than simply spending hours memorizing the spell forms in the dreamscape. A scraping sound by the door broke my concentration. It looked like the first of my litter was headed up the stairs for the morning run. I pulled on my boots and followed. It was a blonde-haired pup who knew about the fortress's age. He looked back as he climbed the stairs and smiled. Name is Castian, 5th son of Baron Romus Helvia. Eric Marco, I replied, acting half-heartedly and expressing disinterest in conversation. You knew our instructors? He asked, trying to make conversation as we ascended together. He must have noticed Constantine had sat with me. Just Constantine. We served in a mage company together. We reached the bailey and headed toward the gate. 2 exhausted soldiers from night watch cracked the gate for us to exit. We soon stood at the top of the bluff. The stairs down to the beach were narrow and worn, but didn't look dangerous. Others of our litter joined us slowly. David and Constantine stood behind us, and I recognized the grin on Constantine's face. Constantine barked. I said we begin our beach run at sunrise. I can see the sun cracking the horizon, and you're not even on the beach. The group scrambled down the stairs to the beach 200 feet below. When we reached the bottom, Constantine barked again. Not fast enough. Try again, and this time I want you at the front. He pointed to the slowest pup on the descent. The young man was from the regular army and had not been through legionnaire training. We all climbed and descended twice more before Constantine was satisfied with our speed. At least we were not in armor or wearing packs. Several of us had struggled with the stairs, and I could tell they were going to have lots of difficulty in the future as they were bent over, sucking wind. Bent over, sucking wind is crazy. I love it though. The tide had retreated and left the seaweed strewn across the long beach. Constantine had a smirk, which was not a good sign. This morning, I painted 20 rocks with numbers, 1 to 20. Now you have to find them. I thought they were very nice rocks and would like them placed at the bottom of the stairs here. We were all looking around for the rocks. He started to assign each of us a number as realization formed. When he finished assigning numbers, he said, Bring me your rock. They are that way. You have gone too far if you reach the 2 triangular rocks side by side in the middle of the beach. We all took off at a steady run in the sand. I moved to the breaker because the sand was too difficult to run in boots. Off the shore were dozens of protruding rocks as we ran. Landing a ship here would be difficult. I started to outdistance the others as I looked for marked rocks in the sand. After 2 miles, I slowed as I noticed a field of rocks under the bluff. Hundreds of rocks of all sizes. I got off the breaker and moved into the rock field, searching. Soon others were with me. No one could find any marked rocks as we moved. Another man in the company pointed at a sandy patch with exactly 20 rocks, and we moved together, but no one found any numbers. The others were swearing at the pointlessness of the task. I bent over and turned over a suspicious rock. The number 11 was clearly marked on the bottom. Then I noticed the difficult to see tracks in the sand. We should have been looking for tracks and not rocks to find them. Number 11 here, I yelled, leaving it turned over. I moved to look for number 18, my rock. When I found my rock, I cursed Constantine as it was clearly larger than the others, easily 90 pounds, however much that is. Others were already carrying their load back to the waiting hounds. Even with the heavier load that I shifted from shoulder to shoulder, I finished 50 among us, but it was challenging and I had to heal myself slightly. I dropped my rock where Constantine had wanted them. Other rocks thudded, and many men winced as they tested their backs from the awkward load. I noticed the healing mage had joined the 2 instructors. When everyone reached us, Constantine gave the last man a breather by inspecting each rock. He pointed at 2 men. You 2 brought me the wrong rock. You had 15 and you had 5. They all got here? One of the men rasped angrily. Constantine shook his head. And if you were given orders to arrest the 5th son of a farmer and you bring back the 15th, have you done your duty? What if the 15th son is innocent? How many farmers have 15 sons? This is like a math question. Another man questioned Constantine. That was the wrong thing to do as we all had to carry our stones back to where we found them and bring back the correct stone this time. It was an effective lesson to pay attention to the details. Yeah, and to shut the fuck up and listen. As men fell into the sand, the healer went to each of us and checked us out. I had healed all my minor sores and injuries already. Constantine stood over us as we rested. Now the hounds of the Empire are fabled for their cunning and fitness. What I am about to share with you is unknown to many. Is he gonna say something stupid? I hope he does. He produced a minor dark blue sphere. Oh, an essence. Okay, not at all what I thought. This a lesser essence of endurance. Everyone sat up, and it was clear this group knew what essences were, even if some had never consumed them. When you consume this, it will fortify your endurance attribute. This means you could spend months never exercising and remain relatively fit. Consuming it will also help you raise your endurance attribute more quickly. With these lesser essences, your potential will never change, but you will see the benefit as we train. Who gets it? Cassian asked, getting to his feet. I think the pompous son of a baron thought he would be entitled to it since he asked. Constantine smiled. All of you. He held up a bag and jingled it. Every day, as long as you complete the training, you will get another physical essence until you have consumed one for each attribute. This is one of the benefits of being a hound. I admitted it was a strong motivator to work hard and stick it out. Most of these men would never see an essence in their lifetime otherwise. When I got my essence, I pretended to consume it and sent it to my storage since I had consumed a physical essence recently. A much happier group climbed the steps back to the fort. Where are you going, pup? Constantine barked at us. We all turned confused as we had just been dismissed. David had a wicker basket and a 3-pronged spear in hand and approached me. Cornelius said you get to harvest from the shoals of everyone. For everyone, right? I looked incredulous, not thinking he had been serious. Oh, I thought he was serious. The rest of you can go. Hearn will be starting this morning lecture in an hour. Eat your fill. Constantine waved the group up the stairs. As the group moved slowly up the stairs, Constantine and David approached me. We will show you where and what to collect. Take off your boots as we will be waiting in the tide pools. When the basket is full, you can bring it up. Damn. This additional task was better than I thought, as Constantine and David helped me fill the basket. Oh, okay. I learned to identify the various shellfish, locate hidden octopus, and fish in the tide pools fishing trident. A large sea turtle, taller than me, came to sun itself in the sand, and the two hounds paused and argued about whether they should attempt to kill it. In the end, they decided the harvest in the tide pools was enough. I had sand in every crevice, and the smell of fishy water clung to my clothes as I carried the 70-pound haul up the steps. Just Constantine was in favor of killing. David snorted. We were lucky nothing dangerous came out of the ocean this morning. 2 soldiers disappeared last week on the beach. Maybe David wanted to kill us. Constantine grunted and encouraged me to hurry. Move a little faster, Pop. You don't want to miss any of the lectures. You might miss something that could save your life one day. Of course, I was the one who had been hauling a rock up and down the beach this morning and now carried the catch up to the steps. I did get some sympathetic looks from the others who waited on benches for me. David took the basket into the castle to be processed. We had a 2-hour lecture from Hound Hearn on goblins. The 3 primary species of goblins, each one's preferred habitats, fighting styles, and how best to track them. When he was finished, we were allowed to ask questions. He finished the lecture by informing us that we would be learning about slimes and oozes tomorrow. Ooh. Our lunch was water and okay. Our lunch was water and as many common ration bars as we cared to eat. Okay. I was like, damn, water. Let's go. It was beyond filling and calorie intense, but the men still complained. I thought that maybe it might volunteer to be out just for the unlimited ration bars. Oh, after the lunch was weapons training. We didn't fight each other. We just got familiar with the weapons of the hounds. Hounds carried 2 silver wire garrotes. I don't know what that is. A silver-coated short sword. I guess it's a short sword. 2 silver-coated... No, maybe not. I don't know what the fuck that is. Some wire. 2 silver-coated throwing daggers and a hand axe. We would eventually be given a composite Legion short bow and silvered arrows, but for now it was about the martial weapons against dummies. I want to look... Garrotes. Garrotes. Weapon. What? No. What? It's... What the fuck is this? It's either a torture share, a fucking cheese treats. What the fuck? Weapon? Question mark. Handheld fishing line used to strangle a person. Oh, okay. Yaha, yeah. It's the string when there's like two wooden like tiny little blocks at the end. Ah, okay, got it. So used for strangling, I guess. Got it. Okay. Now I know what it is at least. Okay, they got those. We would eventually be given a composite lead short sword and silvered arrows, but for now it was about the martial weapons against dummies. Yeah. All the hound trainers participated in correcting our weapons training against dummies. The focus was on achieving a kill or disabling blow as quickly as possible. A lot of the instruction was focused on attacking from behind with surprise. Hence, the strangling device wire. Getting yourself in such an advantageous position would be part of the other training. The evening was spent in the woods with Kato, Jansen, Hearn, and David, moving silently, identifying plants, recognizing animal tracks, and following them. I found this the most relaxing part of the day, as one trainer would shadow 5 of us as we worked on tracking a particular animal. The evening dinner was the worst part of the day, as Constantine would stand up in the common room and ask each pup 3 questions while we ate our only hot meal of the day. If you answered all 3 questions correctly, you're gonna borrow candied fruit and nuts as a reward. If you got even 1 question wrong, you got nothing. Okay. After each question, right or wrong, a hound would explain the answer in more depth to ensure everyone understood. Perhaps I was the only one who noticed the food reward system was a way dogs were trained, but it didn't reveal my thoughts to the others. Are you fucking surprised? Do you know what kind of people these are? These are seriously into the bit. Like, this isn't a bit to them. This is real. Oh, this is Pavlovian. Of course, my questions were the most difficult and obscure, and everyone knew it. They all had questions from lessons earlier in the day. All of Constance's questions for me focused on things we had taught me months ago, which I did not think was fair. The first night, I managed to get 2 questions correct out of 3. I mean, yay! Right, and he's also calling them pups. He's like, the pup said, like, because it is like his head, so it's like, oh my god. He already sees them as pups, dude. Like, come on. Holy shit. This was how each day progressed for the next week. 7 days of training for 7 essences. My performance is just about every task outperformed everyone else. Okay. This alone got me some resentment from the others. As they formed their cliques, I remained aloof. On the 7th night, a cold rain had been persistent throughout the day. We were all soaked and shivering from being outside all day while we ate venison stew, courtesy of Constantine. We were waiting for the evening questioning to begin while Jansen worked on getting a large fire going to warm the room. The door to the common room opened, and 6 legionnaires entered. You look at a fursuit. Fruit, I mean. They get one part, like, you get a hand this time. And then after a week, if you're lucky, you have the full suit. Because it's so expensive. Oh no, it's a reward for the training. Yeah, like when you graduate, you get the suit. A young man in white and gold robes entered after them. The robes of a truth seeker, and I happened to recognize this boy. Oh, fuck me. He was the one who had questioned me before Castile's tribunal. Of course it is. Of course, like, why would it be some random truth seeker? Of course it has to be this bitch. But Eric has inscribed some shit on his bones, so truth seekers means, I'm good, thank you. But okay, I want to know, like, I'm still excited about the truth seeker. Like, I want to know. I want to know. Oh, I'm in love with the hounds now. They're so fun, and I'm so happy that Constantine is back, and I hope he stays because they said like, oh, you can be here a little while, then you can leave. But it's like he's already taken over Cornelius's place for a while, I guess. But it's already also been a week, and he didn't say like, yeah, he's leaving soon. He's just like the truth seeker. But yeah, I'm also amazed that he's like, anyway, a week passed. I was like, okay, how long were we gonna get? How long were they gonna be there for? I don't know if it said a month or a few months. I think it was multiple months. I hope we stay a little bit. I don't want it to just be like, yeah, that was it and I was over. So yeah. Okay, very interesting. We will see what happens with the truth seeker and what questions will be truthed out here. Maybe a pup will leave because of what they say. Why do they even need a truth seeker? I have no fucking clue. Anyway, we will see next time. Oh. So thank you so much for watching. We will play some Wawas. Dang it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciated it. It was very fun. I'm kind of depressed at the moment. That's why I haven't streamed a bit. I don't know. It's really like day-to-day thing. Today I literally forced myself. I was like, I don't want to do this, and then I was like, I will do it anyway. Fuck it, you know. And I was like, see, like I have to just push myself once, and then it's like try, you know. And hello, Winter, by the way. But yeah, so I know I'm inconsistent as fuck. I'm sorry for that, but it's just like I'm doing my best. Yeah, I know. JP, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I'm not gone, you know. I'm not gone. Maybe I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, you know, and then maybe I'll read some lore because I try to be consistent. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. But I'm still happy to do this, and I still think it's fun. So no worries. Happy that you still think so too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. And Willow is very interested right now because she knows I'm gonna say bye bye, and that's her favorite thing. Because then she knows that it's over. All right, you can't. Yeah, there she is. See, she's always like this. She's like she, she knows what that means. Like as fast as I start the outro, she comes running and be like, "That's true." You know, and now she's just like, here, like, leave the computer, woman. Yes, I will. Okay. Thank you again. Hey, you doing? Bye bye.